is going on, everybody? King Recon say, What in the world is Oda doing, dog? What is he doing? Dude, I know we're in the final saga. But man, right in the middle of Vegapunk's arc, in the middle of a chapter that was about to reveal insane information that we've all been waiting for in regards to Bartholomew Kuma and Bartholomew Bogey, with an extremely emotional panel from Jewelry Bonnie. Cannot wait to get that flashback. It is going to be S tier. I can feel it in my veins. You know what I mean? So excited for that. The Jinbei wearing a Hawaiian shirt. Luffy, Chopper, and Jewelry Bonnie with new Treasure Cruise cards, rocking the Vegapunk SSG outfits. We love to see it. Adventure Piece was in full display. Lore Piece was in full display. Vegapunk greatness in this arc, and Oda said that's not enough. The Vegapunk greatness is in full display in this arc, and Oda said that's not enough. The final saga? Stop playing with this man. Stop playing with this man. At this point, after this chapter, I can no longer rule anything out. Who can? Who can? Now I'm going to be mid-chapter, and when that little Oda box comes up that says, at a certain sea, I'm going to be expecting the worst. Sabo, Instant Messenger Sama, Vivi, Shanks. You feel me? One of these chapters in mid-Egghead now, or Elbaf, or wherever it is, Oda's like, waiting for the post-arcs? Who does that anymore? I'm Final Saga Oda. If I want to put Law versus Blackbeard in the middle of Vegapunk's arc, who's going to stop me? Who's going to stop him? Not me. Not you. Not Oda's editors. Nobody's going to stop him. If we want to see a room shambles, mid-chapter showing the boxing match between Blackbeard and Law, who is going to stop him? If from this point onward, Dragon pulls up on Instant Messenger Sama and is like, yo, I'm here, and drops the name of the ancient kingdom mid-chapter, who's going to stop him? If Sabo, swimming, I'm talking senior, I don't care if he's doing the breaststroke, I don't care if he's doing the overarm, if he's freestyling, he may have a fruit, but who's going to stop this man from swimming? Not me, not you. Oda don't care. Yo, at this point, what are we going to see mid-chapter now? And what scares me on a serious note, we understand that Law versus Blackbeard is happening because this is going to have significant consequence on not only the rest of the arc, but also into either part 1 or part 2 of Egghead. Because now I'm starting to believe, as we talked about last week, that Egghead is going to have pieces of that story that are going to continue to snowball into the later arcs in the same way as Sabaody going into Marineford, right? Sabaody, Amazon Lily, Impel Down. I definitely do believe that we're going to have a similar type of structure where it's going to be a snowball effect all the way until the final part of the story. But in this case, Egghead Island could legitimately be like the major story with Vegapunk, with Bonnie, and that stuff right there could be split up. Right? Like, we cannot rule out the possibility that the conflicts in this arc do not go into the next one, right? In regards to, like, last night, shout out to I believe it was Jaden Hayo that brought this up during the Trails from Zero stream. And he was like, yo, what about if it split up like a Water 7 Innings lobby situation in the grand scheme of things, right? Where Elbaf is like the second part of Egghead. And even if it's not Elbaf, even if it's like another section of Egghead Island, or like we talked about last week in the Afterthoughts, the moon, whatever it is, if Law versus Blackbeard is happening here, that means that Oda understood that after this arc, we were not going to have the opportunity to switch to Law versus Blackbeard. Or what's going to happen in Law versus Blackbeard is going to have significant effects in what we're going to do after this arc. So we need to head there, and we need to see the consequences and the aftermath of Law versus Blackbeard heading into the next island. What does that mean? I'm not sure. Now, obviously, y'all know how we are around here. Mr. Law is raw. We're all Law fans. All right, how could you not be a Trafalgar and a Trafalgar Law fan. How could you not? Top 5 character design on both sides. Not dare anyone to tell me otherwise. You know what I'm saying? Because listen to me. At this point, it's Law Solo Dolo. I'm talking LeBron, 2018 LeBron against the Golden State Warriors. Law needs an MVP level performance. 51 point triple-double in order to stand a chance. Because we all know what Beppo's going to do. We all know what Shachi's going to do. We all know what John Bart's going to do. And that is absolutely nothing. And I love those guys. I love Beppo. I love Shachi and John Bart. The GOATs. But against BB? Zehaha Nation? And Von Auger? And Burgess? And Doc Q? It just being Blackbeard is enough. Then you have Pegasus Ryusen Ken? My dog has a full-blown Pegasus with him. Law's going to need to put up a 51 point triple-double just to survive. So if Law manages to survive, that's going to be impressive in and of itself. You know what I mean? Because at this point, Law getting his fruit taken away so that Blackbeard could... Because the thing is, he's not specifically hunting the Opioid. Obviously, he must know what it does, right? And how insane it is, considering that he is so knowledgeable in the world of devil fruits. But at this point, he's not specifically hunting for it, right? Like, he was just waiting to see who would pop up here. Law, Kid, Luffy, whoever it is, and just so happened to be Law. So if that is the case, and we talked about this on stream, right? If what we're seeing here, I don't personally, I don't care if it's off or on screen. What matters to me is, what is this going to lead to? Because if this is really taking place in the back or the front of the island full of lead, then we are led to believe that Kobe is here as well as Aokiji, right? And potentially Pudding too. If in the cover page it really is Aokiji, and I was told that potentially it could be Lafitte as well. Shout out to the commenters for pointing that out. It could be Lafitte and Aokiji being the ones that kidnap Pudding, right? So if we have a scenario here where on the island full of lead, we have Kobe and Pudding under the capture of the Blackbeard Pirates, and more specifically, under the watch of Aokiji. If Law were to be captured too, if Law were to be captured in order to, make sure the rest of the people get freed, or whether he escapes, I want to know the consequences. What is going to take place? Why do we need to see Law versus Blackbeard now that is going to lead that into the next part of the arc? That, to me, is what fascinates me the most. I want to see Law and Blackbeard throw hands. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? But if what I believe is going to happen, because this is Ichiro Oda we're talking about, we do not see the full part of this battle, or maybe we might flashback to it later on if it's that important. But even if we just see the end of it, I don't care. I don't care. I just want to know what happens whenever we transition from Law versus Blackbeard into the next part. Like, why is this so important? Obviously, Blackbeard needs to win this in order to get the poneglyph rubbings from Law. That would then put the fact that Law, Shanks, and Luffy all require the final road poneglyph, which could lead into that battle for the final road poneglyph, or that being the next step, right, where we know all of them are going to be there attempting to get the final road poneglyph wherever it is, whether it be Elbaf, whether it be Lodestar, whether it be in Shanks' villainous lair, because by the Flagnars, we all know it's coming. But on a serious note, imagine Shanks having a lair, and in that lair, he just has the final road poneglyph. But Shanks isn't a villain. But if he is, regardless, if Shanks is a villain or not, it's peak fiction. It's Shanks. It's the red-haired extraordinaire. That's all I'm saying. Regardless, the battle for the final word poneglyph is going to be very important. And if Blackbeard ends up, if that is just the simplest as far as this goes, that they get the poneglyph rubbings from Law's crew, and now they're able to actually make it to that massive battle that's going to be for the final word poneglyph, or whatever the case may be. If it's as simple as that, it's as simple as that. But it just interests me that we're introducing this Law versus Blackbeard plotline in the middle of Egghead Island. It almost makes it feel like what happens here is going to have a direct effect on either the Egghead Island arc or what specifically happens after that, right? Because when we think about it in this way, Kobe being captured is going to reach our ears sooner or later. And at the same time, Pudding being captured could also reach our ears at the same time. So it's like, what happens then? And I know I've talked about it so frequently here in regards to the Kobe and Aokiji potential meetup. But now that Aokiji is going to be in charge of not only taking care of Kobe, but Pudding as well, that's going to add a different layer. We could have our own Impel Down squad here, like I've talked about multiple times, right? Especially if Sabo washes up on shore or Law potentially gets captured. Do you know how amazing that squad is going to be? Kobe, Pudding, Sabo, or Law, and Aokiji, and being like, yo, screw this, we're out of here. And Blackbeard's not going to care. He's like, yo, I had the poneglyph rubbings. I knew you were going to betray me eventually, but I got what I wanted. And so then Impel Down squad, they get out of there. And when we meet up with them again, it's going to be Pudding or rather than them escaping themselves. I also really like the possibility of the Big Mom Pirates saying, screw all of that, we're going to go get Pudding. Rescue arc for Pudding. And I love that idea as well. That was also brought up on stream. Which, for me, just seeing Katakuri in action once again, especially if it's Katakuri and the Monkey D. Goat Man going up running like swimwear, I'm all for that. I am all for that. So all of those possibilities excite me to levels that I can't even begin to explain. Because, yo, now that Blackbeard has shown up mid-Egghead Island arc, the possibilities are crazy. They really are. Because now we can switch to multiple different things. And knowing how Oda's been like keeping everything tightly knit so far within Egghead Island, like I said, that's what makes me believe that this is going to leak into the arc itself or into the grander picture of things after we leave here. This is something that we had to see now before we, of course, get into the post-arc stuff for Egghead Island. So I'm so curious. Like I said before, I really want to see Law and Blackbeard throwing down. I want to see it so bad. So bad. But if we don't see it, or at least we see the end of it, the aftermath of it, right? I'm so curious on the reasoning behind it and the cons, because once we see that, once we see the aftermath of this, then we're going to understand why this needed to take place then and there. And it's insane how this is happening at the same time as us being on Vegapunk's island. So, exciting stuff is inbound. In regards to... It's like, man, are we really heading for a massive battle for the final road poneglyph? Because if that's the case, and on the same island, because we all expected, right, the battle for Laugh-Tale, the battle for the One Piece, the battle maybe even a Lodestar, would have all of these characters there. Buggy, Luffy, Blackbeard, Shanks, Four Emperors. But by the Flaglands, if they are all there, boxing for the final road poneglyph, oh my, bro, do you know how much, dude, the planet would be destroyed. The planet would be destroyed just by two of them being there, right? Luffy and Shanks, Shanks and Blackbeard, Luffy and Blackbeard, Buggy and Shanks, whatever, right? Planet's exploding. Could you imagine all four in one place? Yo, that would be the craziest instant in the history of the series. So, like, I'm so curious. And if Elbaf really does have the final poneglyph, then Elbaf's about to be insane. I don't know. See, now that Blackbeard is doing this, it has unlocked even more potential scenarios in the mind, and it's insane. Egghead Island is 150% off to one of the best starts in the entire series to an arc. This is up there with the very best of starts to an arc, man. With the Water Sevens, with the Dressrosas, with the Wanos, in regards to like those first stretches of chapters in the arcs that are just nuts. And it just keeps escalating. Egghead Island, by the time it's all said and done, is gonna have like a Water 7 level prologue in chapter 1. It's insane. It's off to a great start. It's off to a great start, not only within the arc itself, with the mystery and the intrigue and stuff we've always wanted to see, especially coming off of such a long arc like Wano, right? Like getting an arc like this so soon after, it serves not only as a great palate cleanser, but my goodness, has it been insane in all fronts, right? In your emotional side, in your lore piece side, the adventure piece side, and now in the insanity around the world piece, with Blackbeard and Law throwing down. So Egghead Island, man, there's so much that we could possibly get from here on out. Obviously, we want to continue to see more from Vegapunk and this whole Kuma storyline. Shout out to my boy Joe for telling me something that was very, very interesting. He reached out to me in a DM and was like, yo, have you noticed that that Kuma's jacket looks like the one that was worn by the Mads? And so Kuma being a member of the Mads, especially with willing to have these cyborg modifications on his body, makes so much sense to me with that context, if he really was a part of Mads. So, like I said, I cannot wait for that Bonnie and Kuma backstory. But now we have another layer of insanity to Egghead. What is going to be the aftermath of Law versus Blackbeard? Are we going to continue to see it as the arc progresses? And what is going to come of it as we continue to see through the cover page and the story itself that Blackbeard is continuing to be built up as one of the true GOATs in this verse, as he has been this entire time. I can't believe Blackbeard was in this chapter, bro. We've gotten multiple Blackbeard chapters. We've gotten multiple Shanks and Blackbeard chapters this year, man. It's been a glorious year for the GOAT. What else is going to be in store for us, man? Who in the flying Flagnards could have ever anticipated turning that page and going around the world and seeing Zeh, like, come on, man. That just, it gives you chills. But I really can't wait to see the consequences of this. And y'all know me as a massive fan of Pudding. I really want to see now what happens with Pudding, with the Charlotte family, how they're going to respond to that. And also what that squad that's there in Kobe, in Pudding, potentially Law, right, under Aokiji, those conversations, what are they going to be like? And it's exciting stuff, man. I really can't wait to see the aftermath of this. The battle itself, obviously, I want to see the rooms and the liberation and the Yami Yami no Mi and the Tremor fruit all going up in like somewhere. But after that, when we dig into what's really happening in this hideout, it's like, yo, what happens next? What happens next? And it's exciting stuff, yo. But I will see y'all next time. Have an awesome day. This was an excellent chapter of One Piece, and I cannot wait to see what's in store next, considering that we had this insanity and we still didn't go on break. Still didn't go on break, man. Shout out to Trafalgar Law, or as somebody said in the stream, Trafalgar No D Water Law. I thought that was genius. But I will see y'all next time. Have an awesome day. Blackbeard is here versus the Mr. Raw is Law. It's about to go down, and then while simultaneously while this is happening, Vegapunk, Kuma, the mysteries, what is popping off on Egghead Island while Robert D. Lucci and the squad continue to pull up. This arc is exciting, man. I will see y'all. Take care. GOAT Piece is on fire right now, man. As it should be. And as it has been the entire year. Final Saga Oda, he moves different.